Hey, it's Joe Blasco here for MUA TV, and we have something really special for you. We have Miss Annabella Interview, music icon, and she's here with us tonight live. So don't you go away, because we'll be right back with Annabella right after these words. We're back, and here we go. The icon, Miss Annabella Interview. You look absolutely stunning.
Oh, thank you very much.
Just beautiful. She has, this is a makeup channel, right? She has so little makeup on. Her skin is absolutely flawless. Absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
You've been very busy, haven't you?
Yes, been doing a lot this last year. Working on.
But let's back up a little bit.
Sure,
first.
absolutely.
Let's back up a little bit.
Yes, and I have to say, my makeup was done by Travis Pates, who is the best makeup artist I've ever had the pleasure of working with.
Let's hear it for Travis.
Yeah,
Travis, you know, he's one of my graduates, and he's on MUA TV all the time.
Right.
And in fact, he's been on for the past 2 weeks doing all types of beauty makeup and character makeup as well. Mm-hmm. I'm very proud of him. He's really great, and I'm glad that he's working with you.
He's a great.
You know what?
I'm gonna get comfy here on the couch. It's so big.
Are you all right?
I'm such a small person.
Here, come on over closer. Come on over here. It's a little more intimate here.
Oh, I do.
Okay, I like my space. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
You know what? This is we're approaching Halloween, and you are a Halloween baby, right? You were born on the 31st of October, and you were born in Burma.
Yes.
It's Yangon.
Well, the Rangoon, Burma, but it's Yangon, Myanmar now, which is the Burmese name.
Yes.
The Burmese name for the country. That's why.
Yes, and it's Myanmar. Is that how you pronounce it? Myanmar. That means the Golden Land. Is that not right? The Golden Land.
Does it?
Yes, it does.
It sounds like a movie title.
Isn't that great?
Perhaps
Isn't that a wonderful place to be from? The Golden Land.
It is an incredible place.
And your birth name is, now you're going to have to help me here. Help me with this.
My birth name is Mie A.
Mie A, and that means high, cool.
No, it means cool, high, actually.
Cool, high?
Yes. Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes. I don't know why, and I have no understanding of that relevance or significance, but I think it has helped in some situations.
And how has it helped?
Well, I'm a practicing Buddhist, and as an artist, it really helps to have something grounding in your life, because as we know, the entertainment industry can be very fickle, and there's always highs, and the highs are really high, and the lows can be really low. But when you have something outside of all of that, which is not actually outside, it's actually within you, it really helps to bring into focus what's really important. As like, you know, when you have a child in your life, if you're a parent, or if you have a pet in your life, if you own an animal, it's like you're responsible for something other than just me, which is what the music industry and the entertainment industry, generally speaking, tends to be about, it seems. And I think with this practice, I found it's really brought me into the place where I feel that whatever I'm doing, it's not just for that reason. It's because I'm hoping to help to
go beyond yourself.
Go beyond myself to help others, and hopefully give back in any way I can through what I'm doing, but also to break a few different areas that haven't been broken.
Yes,
you know.
Yes. Would help areas that have been broken to mend.
Yes. Exactly.
That's important.
Yes, absolutely.
And how long have you been? You know, I've studied Buddhism to a point. Yes.
Okay. There's so many different types.
And I find it fascinating. Mm-hmm. And the selflessness of Buddhism, I think, is that part of Buddhism that really is so fulfilling and satisfying. And you know, I have animals. You mentioned,
you do?
You mentioned animals.
I love dogs.
I have 3 dogs.
So
I have a standard poodle, Caesar.
Oh, okay.
A miniature poodle.
Great name.
Malcolm, because he was in the middle.
Okay, I have a bit of an umbrage thing going on with the name Malcolm, but anyway, I've got my own reasons for that.
And I've got a Belgian Griffon. His name is Rudy. And he's on the channel every now and then. And you know, you're absolutely right, because you know, to have dogs or animals, they're very pure.
Yes.
They're absolutely pure creatures, beings.
They're like children.
Absolutely.
They're close to the universe.
Yeah, they're my children. My dogs are definitely my children.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your career. You certainly made a difference with your music.
Okay. Thank you very much.
In the 80s, you're well known. You know, become very prominent. You know, in the music industry.
Wow.
But now you're going.
I'm a legend in my own living room.
But you're going so far beyond. You know, Travis gave me a tremendous amount of information here, and you know, you honestly you were a great influence during the 80s with fashion, you know, but fashion through your music and the wardrobe that you were appearing in your music videos with made a great stir. They made a great stir. There were several things that you did that made a great stir. Some of the photos that were taken, and do you want to talk about
that were not worn?
Can we? And the clothes that were not worn.
It's not my idea
But you've
at the time.
Right.
I have to.
This was quite this was a while ago, and there's been so many things that have happened since then. But what do you see that has happened in fashion? Let's talk about fashion. Let's talk about makeup. Since we've got an audience of makeup artists and hairstylists, let's talk about makeup and hair for just a short time.
Okay.
And then I definitely want to get back to what we were speaking of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And during the 80s when you did Candy, what was your concept?
That's such a big hit.
What was yes?
That was made a huge hit by
I Want Candy.
The US,
Everybody knows that.
I'm forever in debt to the States for that.
Yes.
That was our first big hit officially over here.
Yes.
We had a song before that called Go Wild in the Country.
Yes.
That was a big hit in the UK. But anyway, continue.
Yes. Well, how did you determine your look? Because you definitely you have this mohawk look, you know, that's way before its time. A very unique, avant-garde image. And was this the product of designers that you worked with, or was this look was something that you created yourself?
Nope, not at all. I actually was in a recording studio. We were recording an album, I think, at the time, first album for RCA Records, who were our first record, officially our first record label. Well, actually, they were the second record label, but the lead guitar player is the one that I have to give credit for, for that hairstyle. Because when I first saw this guy wandering around this recording studio with no hair on the sides of his head, I thought, who the hell is that guy wandering around? Who's that guy? And it turns out it was the lead guitarist in the band, and he got drunk, and one night he shaved his hair on both sides because he was thinking about the name, and he was thinking about the idea of doing something different.
Yes.
And he was called Matthew Ashman. And he was actually very much an innovator of the band that I was in at that time, the original band. And it was through him that I got my mohawk, because he said that I looked too nice and too pretty with the hair that I used to have, the hairstyle. And he just, you know, one day they just got me in a tour bus and shaved my head. So that was it. And then the next thing I know, I was at this first gig wearing a brown paper bag over my head. Because I just thought, I'm so embarrassed to walk out on that stage right now. I am not going to let these people see my hair. But then I had to actually take it off because, you know, I had to put 2 slits. This is a true story, by the way. I actually went on stage with a brown paper bag the very first night I had the mohawk done. Seriously. And I used Gillette 2 blades. Because I just thought it looked so bad the way they'd cut it on the bus for me.
So you redid it. You redid it.
Town.
You made sure that was perfect.
I did it perfect because I'm a perfectionist like that. So I just, but that night it was really.
Where were you performing?
I had a camera.
Where were you?
It was some dodgy little divey little club somewhere in the outside England, like Manchester. It was like Manchester or somewhere in the Scunthorpe or Sheffield or somewhere like that, you know. It was only a small, you know, crowd of people. I think it was only like 800 people or something. Yes. But it was really weird because when I took this off my head, of course, they went, who's that? You know.
Where did you record I've Got Candy? Was that done?
I Want Candy was done in Miami. I thought it was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was in conflict about where exactly it was recorded, but it was done with an amazing producer who is actually a manager for a very well-known artist in the rock and roll industry. His name's Kenny Laguna and Richie Cordell.
Yes.
And I was in a studio with these two amazing producers, and they got me to sing I Want Candy, because that was actually a suggestion that was put also by them.
Yes.
And
who wrote the song?
It was done by the Strangeloves in the 60s.
Yes.
It was a very old song.
Yes.
You know, the Trugs did like Wild Thing. Dun, dun,
Oh yeah, yeah,
dun,
of course,
dun.
of course.
You make my heart sing. Dun, 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 dun.
Look at
You
us.
make everything. Anyway, that
Yes.
one. Well, it wasn't
Groovy.
Trugs. It was actually Strangeloves. So
That's great.
The Strangeloves did this song.
So we got you to perform.
It was a guy. It was a guy that sang the song, and I just had to change up the lyrics a little bit to
Right.
because I was obviously not a guy. So that's how we did the song.
Yeah.
That was the first time I actually thought, yeah, I don't sound half bad singing. Actually, it's not bad, is it? Not too bad.
How long did it take it to become the hit that it became eventually? And it didn't
Well-
take that long, did it?
I can't, I really can't remember that well, because I was like in my teens. I was like 13, 14, 15, 16. And I remember we were just working all the time,
Yeah.
constantly, just working on songs. If it wasn't in
Right.
the studio, it was writing songs,
Right.
or doing TV or radio, or just everything to do with getting it out there and being
you-
heard and seen.
Right, but you don't really like doing other people's music. You are also a songwriter.
I absolutely love
You know.
writing songs.
Yeah, and just recently, in fact, just 2 years ago, you did a soundtrack. You want to tell us about that?
A soundtrack.
Yes, for a film. Was it?
Oh!
How quickly they forget.
Okay. Well, it's because I've done a few soundtracks. That's probably why. Marie Antoinette was actually, Aphrodisiac was actually a Bow Wow song. It's
Yes.
not Annabella Lewin, it's Bow Wow. And also, I think they used Fools Rush In, which is a cover by Johnny which is a cover song that we did, which I did when I was 14, and it was by an artist at that time called Johnny Mercer.
Yes, yes, I
Again,
remember
another
Johnny
60s
Mercer,
artist.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's
Again,
talk
another
about
60s.
this.
Yes, that's my logo.
I love this logo. Check
Thank
this
you.
logo
I
out.
designed that.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's my name.
To me, it looks very spiritual.
Yeah, sun.
Can you
stars.
explain this to us?
Easy. It's just the moon. It's the moon and the sun and the star.
Yeah.
And that's just my name.
Yeah, that's
Annabella.
fabulous. And
Thank you.
in this, and thank you for this, by the way.
You're welcome.
We have your MySpace. I know that everyone that's out there is going to want to look at your MySpace page. And what's the address to your MySpace page? Is that?
Well, there's two I have. Because one is musical and the other one is not, and I'm actually in process of doing some changes to it. But there's an official MySpace page, which is just Annabella Lewin.
Yes.
I think it's Annabella Lewin / official solo, or official solo Annabella Lewin, something like that. Well, if you go to Annabella Lewin, you'll find it. It comes up anyway.
Right.
somewhere on the
Excellent.
line.
Excellent.
But it's the one where I've actually kind of got just my eyes showing, because I did a photo shoot with the video director who directed the video.
Yes.
That's on YouTube still, for a song called Do What You Do. And
Yes,
he did
and
the
I've got it
photo
right here. I've got it right here.
Oh,
and is this?
okay.
And it's there's one here. Car sex, lip service. All right.
That's
Do
a
what
big
you
mix,
do.
that one.
House
That's a
of
New
Delta.
York.
House of Delta. What is that have to do with like the voguing houses or no? What is this?
No, but that's an interesting concept and scenario, and I might even think of playing with that idea.
Because the
Now
music
that you
is very
suggested it.
much. It's very much. It reminds
House of
me.
Delta.
My friend is very much into house music
Oh,
and voguing.
really?
Yes,
Okay.
and the music here is spectacular.
When we did a show years ago, I had apparently people like, the Chili Peppers there,
Yes.
and Green Day, and all those kinds of groups, but before they were known as Green
Yes,
Day.
yes, yes.
Before they were known as No Doubt. Before they were known as the Chili Peppers. So it's kind of, if that's the only way I can explain it, it's like you discover, you know when you meet people, you can just see it. They've got something within them.
You
that
can
they-
recognize the
They
talent.
haven't explored it
Yeah,
yet, that's all.
yeah.
They haven't tapped into it 100%, but they're there. They know they're on the right track, and it's important to bring it out. Because sometimes again, going back
Right,
to
right.
the business of music or the business of entertainment, it's a hard industry to be in. It's a lot of competition, a lot of, people who are unfortunately a little unkind sometimes,
Yes.
you know, but it's important to forget about all that and just focus on what you're here to do and what you want to try and achieve through your art.
Exactly. This is why I started the school.
Yes, it's wonderful.
And now, you know, to be, like, for instance, we just, isn't it great? I mean, to have people like Travis as a graduate, from the school, and to be able to bring people into the industry who really have talent.
Absolutely.
You know, in the past, it was the art of makeup was handed down father, son, or to the nephews. It was kind of a family type of thing. And it was very difficult to learn how to be a makeup artist for film and for television.
Wow.
And it wasn't until I actually I pioneered the opening of makeup schools that it was even available to women. Women were not accepted as makeup artists. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah,
Why
before
was
the
that? That's a bit sexist.
because it was
Yes,
it was very sexist.
But why?
And it was a good old boy type of club, you see. And it was absolutely, but that's kind of all gone by the wayside now. And
I would think so,
and when I opened my school, it opened the floodgates for all of the women who had been held back.
Okay.
And suddenly, the art of makeup became a profession that they could enter into.
Okay.
So now, when you look at the credits of films and television shows, you actually see more women as makeup artists than you do men. You know, and it was also because of character makeup and prosthetics that women weren't really permitted into the art, because men felt, well, women will be hairdressers, and the makeup artists are going to be men, because we do all of the character work and the beard work and the bald caps and all this ugly stuff.
And the cod pieces.
Yes, and the cod piece.
Shakespeare's time.
But it was, so it's bringing new...
Phrase, is it term, a phrase, or whatever? Anyway.
Bringing new, I understand what you're saying, bringing new talent, recognizing new talent, mentoring, bringing people into the business, because it can be a very ugly, backstabbing business, jealousies.
I think guidance is the word I'd like to use. Just guidance.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
everybody's got it within them anyway. They've already got the answers. They just need to tap into it, and sometimes it's hard to do that, you know.
What's the happiest experience that you can remember of your career?
Singing.
Singing.
Every time.
All the time.
I love to sing. I absolutely love it. And I've been told I'm too old to do it now, you know, but...
Who told you that?
Oh, many record labels. Record labels, and by the way, they're going to be obsolete pretty soon, as we all know, because of the internet.
Hey, what goes around comes around. It's very Buddhist.
I don't think they would like that very much. But anyway, we're in the 21st century now, and I started off, you know, because I was born in 65, 66. No, it was 65, Annabella. Why are you lying?
65, October
no
31st.
31st of October, yeah. And people know my age, and I don't care that they know my age, and I won't put my age down for by 5 years, which is what actor friends of mine tell me. You should say you're 5 years younger, and I'm like, why? You know.
Exactly why.
But the point being, we're going back
terrific.
to the thing of music and makeup and fashion, and basically, without makeup, if you look at all the videos that we do in the music industry, forget about it. We can't be in the video unless we have a great makeup artist or a great hairstylist or hairdresser. So it's because of people like you that we are able to go out there and do our thing.
That's right.
Because if we're still sitting in our living room, like I said, a legend in my own living room, you know, when we're at home doing the cooking or whatever, or looking after our babies, you know, it's important to remember that it's the team. It's the team that counts to make us, you know, succeed. And hopefully it's a series of successes, if that makes any sense, for those involved in that. It's not to be, I mean, I can't explain it. It's maybe
It's a series of successes to attain their desired goal.
Yes.
Yes.
To fulfill their mission.
Absolutely. There you go. Their mission.
mission,
In fact, I spoke about that in class 2 days ago.
Oh, you
and
did?
I told the class, you know, you've got to think of your mission or your goal, let's say, or as you say, you know, your mission, as like the sun ahead of you.
Yes.
And every time you're presented with a situation in life that asks a question of you, you either answer that question positively, correctly, or you don't.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to lie to yourself or to anyone, because every time you do that, then instead of taking a step forward toward the attainment of that goal, you're going to sidestep, or even worse would be to take a step backward. You see, so this is,
never compromise.
Yeah, never. Absolutely.
Because when you've done it once, then you do it twice, and you do it thrice, it's like you're on the road to a slippery slope, and that's, unfortunately, I did that, so that's why I'm saying it. I did it once in my life, and I'm never doing that ever again.
Let's talk about that. How did you do it?
Oh, it's just a simple thing of, you have 20 people telling you what you're doing is not correct as an artist. It's like, you do someone's face up for a show, and someone's going, it's different if it's the person concerned that you're doing the face on, whose makeup you're doing. They go, I'm not really sure about that, because I've had I've had some really bad makeup
some really
experiences.
bad makeup artists.
Well, yeah, of course. You kind of...
Well, they're all different levels of training.
Of course. Well, some of them didn't even actually have training. Yeah. But it isn't even about that. It's about just the knowing of the art and the gift that
but you get a feel. You know what? If you know the art and you understand, really doing makeup is as simple as understanding the products that you're working with.
Okay.
That's it. If you understand the products you're working with and you know how each of them are to be applied with brushes or sponges or fingers, and you look at the person, and if you're really intuitive as an artist, you get a feel. You get a feel for what this person needs.
Right.
It's just, I can't explain it, but it's something that comes from inside.
Yeah.
And obviously we've studied anatomy, we've studied, physiology, we've studied lighting, we've studied what the camera does, we've studied light reflection and all. But what it really boils down to is looking at someone's face and saying, what do I like about that face, and what don't I like about it? And let me see if
Too many late nights, girl.
Get
the cucumber in the program. Tea bags. I've tried that, by the way. And what is with the tea bags? All it does is
the tea bags and cucumbers It
makes it worse. I'm like, what's with the tea bag theory?
You're right. What is that about?
Hit me. I'm sort of like, it's never really worked for me.
So anyway, you look at the face as an artist and you say, okay, what can I do to make this person not only look better but feel better? Because if they're going to, if the person, you have to have a personality that is able to be accepted by the person sitting in the chair.
Yes.
And if you're liked by that person sitting in the chair, if they feel confidence, if they feel your confidence, you have to have confidence. Confidence comes from knowledge and experience. So if they feel your confidence, which has come from knowledge and experience, then they're going to sit back and they're going to relax and they're going to let you do your thing.
He's very good.
No.
He's very good.
I am? Oh, well, thank you.
Very good.
Thank you for that. But I think that's the thing. It's really based upon that. And the only way that you're going to get a lot of experience and worthwhile is if you're honest and you're truthful.
Yes.
Every time I stumble, it's because I've fabricated something, and then you have to keep track of all these little things that you've done, and you can't do that and really succeed.
I've always found too, it's important to be calm.
Absolutely.
Calm.
And I'm not being very calm right now.
That's why I chant before a show.
Yeah.
Like I'll say, because I have like an hour to get ready sometimes if I'm doing a show, because I've done my own makeup for stage. I learned to do that from a very young age, very badly, but I did it anyway because I didn't have a makeup artist and a hairstylist and all those people. So I learned how to do it, from a very early age. And I always found the best way of doing it was, apart from having a bottle of beer, was off the record, was actually being alone in my own space, whatever that space was, whether it was the ladies' bathroom or whatever, and just having 20 minutes just to myself and just focusing and just feeling and just envisioning. And it was really weird because some of the time I had absolutely no idea how I was going to do my makeup or how I was going to do my look for the night. I'd get my outfit worked out. As all of us ladies know, it's really important to get the shoes and the tops and the bits and pieces underneath and all the rest of it, But when it comes to the face, it's like, oh my God. But then in those days, I was using makeup that was really not very good makeup. And I think I mentioned this to I think I mentioned this to Travis. There was a company called Charles Fox in England.
Oh, yes.
And they used to do a lot of theatrical makeup.
A store, yes.
And I didn't discover this until I worked with an artist who wasn't an artist at the time, but he became an artist later, called George, Boy George.
Boy George.
He's known as Boy George.
He used to use my makeup.
Yes, Karma, 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 Karma,
yes,
Karma,
absolutely.
Karma, Chameleon.
We made, exactly, we made a color called TV White, which he used for his light, pale complexion.
It
TV
took
White.
2 hours to make up for a show where he was just singing one song for our hour set. And that was the first time I discovered, oh my God, because I never used to wear so-called stage makeup, you know. So I realized that after I worked with George, I mean, that was my lesson with him.
Yes.
Because he had this amazing 2-hour little ritual with this, that, and the other, and the powder puffs and everything.
Yes.
And I was going, but I'm the woman and you're the man, and I'm not wearing as much makeup as you are. And what's going on here? It's all very confusing. So, seriously. So I ended up going to Charles Fox, because he said, well, I get some of my stuff from Charles Fox. And then I went to Charles Fox, and I checked out all the stuff and went, ah! I was like in a candy store, because there was all this amazing colour and just this pan makeup stuff, which took away lines and stuff like that, you know. And
the pancake.
And it just gave you a nice colour. And then I could actually create this look on stage that made me look like a model, you know, because I wasn't, you know. And and I'm still not, but the point being, it was really interesting because I loved experimenting, and that's when I started. I think it was about 16, when I seriously started wearing a lot more makeup for stage. And I went on from there, but long story short, the whole essence of people who are artists, you know, with makeup, hair, and behind the scenes stuff, like this gentleman's doing to the right of me with the white hair from England.
Peter Saxby.
Peter Saxby, yeah. It's like everybody is part of the team, and we forget that sometimes. In the music industry. I've met a lot of so-called celebs, you know, and I kind of go, well, when you did this and when you did that, and I have conversations with them, very realistic conversations, and they kind of, the answers I get I don't always find very fulfilling, because I don't think they give enough credit to the people behind the scenes. And this will lead me nicely into the benefit thing, because I'm behind the scenes with the benefit thing for the production for the benefit show that I'm putting on in November for Burma.
Yes, excellent.
Which is where I was born.
And we should talk about that.
When you want to, of course. Yeah.
Let me ask you one thing before we go there.
Sure.
You're very intuitive as an artist. You understand art. You understand the feelings that artists have and the needs they have, from what I hear you saying. What we have many student makeup artists, not only here in our audience.
Well, you had a lot more before I came late tonight, so I can honestly say I'm so sorry, guys, for being stuck in traffic.
That's okay. Sorry, you were fashionably late. Here's the thing: not only do we have, let's not just go by the audience here tonight, but you've got thousands of people that are watching worldwide. Right now, that are students in makeup schools all over the world. Now, you say you've had good times and you've had not so good times with artists, with makeup artists. Now is your chance to give words of wisdom and advice to all of these artists all over the world who are studying the art. What would you say to them?
I would say to anybody who has the great privilege to do makeup for someone like Madonna, another pioneer in our industry.
Absolutely.
Or Cher, one of the greats in our industry. Always ask them, first of all, what are you talk to them. Just talk to them. Just ask them what they want, what they're looking to create before you start doing their makeup. You know, because when I've sat down in front of people and they don't even say anything to me, they just like go, okay, and then I'm yellow, you know, or because I'm you know, half Burmese, they assume I'm going to have a yellow foundation base, you know, or they think I hear my English accent, so they assume I want all white, you know, or something. And I'm going, you know, you should see some of the pictures. I was sprayed all gold once for an album cover. I mean, really, it's like, just talk to the person you're making up first, because it really helps to, you know, it breaks the ice a little bit, also to laugh a little bit with them and say, well, you know, and what are you, and also talk to them about what kind of looks they're going for, you know. But if you'll feel it when you're talking to them, what they're kind of wanting. And then you start doing their makeup and you're having this conversation. I always find it's really nice when I love when Travis does my face, because when I've worked with this gentleman many times before,
yes.
by the way,
yes.
and I knew first off the bat when I first had him for my first show to do my makeup. When I first had him for my first show. No, let me rephrase that. When I first had him do my makeup for my first show, I knew straight off the bat he was just a wonderful makeup artist, and not just a wonderful makeup artist. He's an incredibly nice and down-to-earth and very sincere person. And I really appreciate that in my industry, you know. But
really?
It's just,
here,
yes,
here.
Definitely. Just no, can I say BS? No BS, yes. If everyone knows what that means, biscuits and soda. Just the real deal, just being natural, just being yourself. And because it makes you less, because there's enough stuff going on around you that makes you like that, nervous. Right. And I'm naturally hyperactive and hypersensitive. In my life for some reason, and I liked the fact that when I met people who did me makeup or hair, they were calm, they were collected.
Yes.
Like this lovely lady did my hair today for me,
Bonnie.
What a beautiful woman she is. She came in, my hair, I seriously, I walked in looking like I'd been dragged through the bush backwards, you know, and she just she made me look like this with my hair. So it makes you, like you say, it makes you feel. If the person you're working with is relaxed, if they talk to you, if it's just like we're having a cup of tea, but also we're just doing the makeup and the hair, but we're just talking, you know, it's nice, and we're having a little chat. It just makes you feel relaxed, because there's a lot of craziness that's already going on around you. So the calmness, I feel, is really.
You don't need the artist to add to it. That's right.
No, it's really nice, and just, hey, what are you doing? What are you up to? Just nice.
Down to earth.
Down to earth.
Real,
and just the calmness.
Peace.
The peace. Because before a TV show, and people are knocking on the door every 5 minutes.
Right.
You ready yet? You ready? Because they always have these schedules and these deadlines, and you're going, I just walked in here 20 minutes ago. What are you talking about? Because sometimes you don't have a lot of time. So even in those times, when you don't have a lot of time to be really like on top of it, and that's where I go back to when I'm as a Buddhist, when I've done my own makeup at shows and I have an hour to do my hair, my makeup, my clothes, eat, pray, and I'm thinking, so I'm thinking, have I got to sacrifice something here? Oh yeah, maybe I've got to sacrifice cleaning my teeth or something, or eating. But at the end of the day, it's just maintaining that calmness so that when you get yourself together, as it were, you don't look like you're going on stage, and I would feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It can throw any artist.
Yes.
What you're doing is a huge service, because it can throw a performer.
Big time.
It really can. If they don't feel comfortable with the way they look, period. And it's not being vain. It's just like, well, I don't really feel comfortable, so that means you're not confident, as you said earlier.
That's right.
Which means that you can't go on stage feeling relaxed and comfortable, and the interviewer who's interviewing you is going, what the hell is this one on then? Is she, because they don't know that you're already feeling a little edgy because of what happened backstage before you went on and all the rest of it.
There's so much to think about before you go on. You certainly shouldn't have to think about the way you look.
No, you shouldn't.
Especially when you've hired people to come in who are good at what they do.
Yep.
It's
that's why. Sense of sereneness.
Exactly.
Is what you're looking
exactly.
for. Yeah.
Do you try often to make everyone happy? Is that part of the way part of you, to make everyone around you happy? Do you strive to do that?
I strive to make everyone feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You can't always make everybody happy all the time.
Yes.
But I like to see people happy. I like people to feel comfortable. I feel very uncomfortable if they're uncomfortable.
Yes.
And pretty much most of my life has been like that.
And how do they react to that most of the time?
Some people, I think.
Do they take advantage of you? Do they look at you and say?
Happened sometimes.
That happens quite a bit, actually.
Probably. Are you doing a psychological
No,
thing
did they?
Now? Cow, pig, dog, sheep. I got that down.
No, because we're artists, and when sometimes when we're kind to people, kindness is not kindness can be taken advantage of.
Yes.
Because sometimes when you're so busy being so kind, you don't see what's coming up from behind you.
Well, that's why I'm probably. Let me put it this way: if I had been a different kind of personality, and if I'd actually solidly been doing, because I've been doing music, I mean, I say 28 years, but in all honesty, I think it's probably been about 20. You know, I can knock off a 5-year period, because I was focusing on my personal life that I didn't have when I was 14, you know, to 17.
Because you started very young.
20, yeah.
14?
Well, actually,
or younger.
I was 13 when I auditioned. 13.
They discovered you singing in a laundromat.
Malcolm, Dry Cleaners.
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't actually Malcolm, it was a friend of his.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you somehow, Stevie Wonder is somehow entwined in your being discovered.
He's an amazing
Isn't he?
songwriter and performer.
I worked with him a few times.
I met him. I finally met him after many years. Just last year, actually, at a place called the NAMM Show. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's like, you know, you have exhibition places where you go to buy products for your art.
Yes, trade shows.
The trade shows. It's a trade show for music industry people, and you go there to buy equipment and all sorts of things like that to do with music.
And he was there.
And he was there, and so was Bootsy Collins.
Ooh.
So I was like, so yes.
And what did you say to him? You spoke to him, obviously.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I had to go up and tell him. I said, it's because of you that I became a singer for a band called Bow Wow Wow.
Isn't that a great feeling?
I was
be able to tell someone that they are the reason.
And it was really weird because before I met him, I was thinking a lot about him. And then a friend of mine who was from New York was coming into town. He was the drummer that played on one of my tracks that I did. And he said, "Oh, you must come to the NAMM Show." And I said, "Well, you know, I'm not with a record label right now, so I'm probably not going to buy any equipment, but I'll check out the microphones, because I have a thing about microphones and sensitive, and you know how good they are." And
well, that's where the voice goes. That's picking up your soul, because that's what this. It's
very important to project in the right way, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I was fortunate enough to go to the NAMM Show, and I was very blessed. I was able to meet Stevie in person and finally tell him that I sang I Wish, you know, I was singing I Wish on the radio, that I was working in a dry cleaners going looking back on when I was a little nappy-headed boy, da 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 da. You know, and it's like, and he just got my hand and he put it to his heart and he went, "Thank you. Thank you." And I thought, can you see me through those shades? You look like you're looking at me. Are you looking at me through those shades? He was like, "I can't see you, little lady." He was, "How do you know I was little? How do you know I was little?" I was like, "Because I have a thing about my height, you know, because I'm so short." But anyway, it was really a privilege and a pleasure, and I'll remember that till the day I die, because he was someone I used to listen to when I was really young, before I became a singer professionally, supposedly.
Yes.
And it was a great joy. It really was.
And how long did you speak to him then? That day?
Oh, minutes. It was. He had a whole entourage of people, because he was promoting Roland keyboards. He was playing. All I heard was the keyboard playing. And I thought, oh my god, I recognise that keyboard playing, because I'm into like jazz, you know, musicians. And there was a beautiful musician a long time ago. He died many years ago, called Michel Petrucciani. And he was a little guy, he had brittle bone disease, but he was in the jazz arena, because I was lucky enough to, you know, be introduced to that through somebody I knew a long time ago. And I was like, wow, because you recognize, you can just hear, you know, you can hear through sound. It's like, you know, instinctively through the brushes you're using, whether they're sable or, you know, because there are, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone tells me that Japanese brushes and all that kind of makeup stuff with all the makes. It's like fashion, you know, like clothes. Fiorucci, Gucci, and you know, I'm like, I don't care about that as long as it feels comfortable. As long as it looks and it feels, you know, I can move. Isn't that the most important thing?
Right, exactly.
But obviously, with makeup, it's important what tools you're using.
Well, you have companies that will put themselves into what they produce, and other companies that just throw things together and really don't. You're buying an inferior product.
Right.
So you know what I mean? It's like being professional. You know, you can do it right all the way, or you can kind of phony baloney your way through, you know.
But nothing is perfect, and nobody is perfect, even though they try to hide the flaws. So I'm a great believer in that.
That's the truth.
If everyone presents themselves perfectly, wouldn't this be such a boring world?
Yeah, you know? Awful. 2008, it says here, the cyclone Nargis, which hit Myanmar in May, is estimated to have killed around 138,000 people. that's devastating. And you right now are involved in a very worthwhile endeavor.
I hope it will be
of helping.
Time will tell.
Tell the world, tell our audience, tell the makeup artists and the hairstylists exactly what you're doing.
Very simply, I have personal reasons for helping to raise money for the people of Burma, the people of Myanmar.
Yes.
But also, you know, it would strike me as odd if, and I have to be set an example, obviously, because I'm the only half Burmese, half English singer, Spanish, quarter of my grandmother side, singer that I know of in this industry, because I haven't met a lot of Burmese English singers that have, you know, been around during the time I was around anyway. And whether it's Burmese, Spanish, Ecuadorian, or Gibraltarian, or if that's the right way of putting it, or, you know, Ghanaian, or wherever.
Yes.
It's about doing something to help. And for me, it's a karmic thing too, because of my Buddhist teachings. You know, I felt it. Well, ultimately, my first thing was a personal calling, but I just felt when I heard the news on a radio station this year in May.
And that must have felt unbelievably horrid, knowing that this was your country and your people.
Well, I was concerned about my dad being dead or alive, basically, because I didn't know, you know, if he was. And because I live in America and my family live in England, and I have one other relative that lives in New York, but, you know, mainly my family are in England and it's America. So we didn't have any contact for, like, I think it was six weeks, 7 weeks. I didn't know where he was, if he was alive or not, and knowing the state of the country, you know, with the military situation there, it's kind of run by the military.
Yes.
It was a worry, you know, to know what actually had happened.
How did you find him eventually?
Well, I was chanting, and my brother, who's absolutely brilliant with keeping in touch, like, there's always someone in the family, isn't there, that keeps, it's like the glue in the family that keeps someone together, and that's a sign right there, people, because when you have that, it's a blessing to have that one person in the family. They always say there's a black sheep in the family too, which is in every family or whatever, and that's the karma of that family for that lifetime. But there's always someone that keeps everybody together, and my brother, I've got 4 brothers, and you know, there was one of my brothers that kept everybody connected, and he'd been going to Burma twice a year to visit with my dad.
He's in London, your brother?
Yeah, because I have family in England and America. Well, mainly in England, but my mum lives in England because my mum and dad divorced when I was very young, and it's a long story. Point being, so my dad lived in Burma, and my younger brother went to, you know, to see him, and he was told he couldn't go out there as soon as this happened, because the country was in devastation, obviously. And think about it, it's like, you know, like in Louisiana what happened. You know, as soon as something like that happens, a natural disaster, you know, the communication is broken. So that's why the worry starts to set in, and you go, because you don't know. You don't know. It's just, it's not knowing that you know, person is dead or alive. So, and of course then the military play their part, because it's run by a military dictatorship, and they vet the mail and they vet the phone calls and everything. So when things were starting to progress forward a little bit, the next thing was that all this aid was being offered by the outside world, as it were, and they were not being very cooperative, to say the least. So my next question that I was asked, and I hope I'm answering it too for you, is, well, what about the aid that we're giving, and where is it going, and who's getting it?
Yeah.
And you know, I was concerned about this too when I first started talking to family members, and I found out that it was so bizarre. It was very symbolic, I think, on a lot of levels for me, because I was born in Rangoon. This happened in the southern delta of Myanmar, which is just outside of Rangoon. But the most amazing thing was, throughout all this, I chanted, and I didn't feel that my dad wasn't, around anymore on this earth plane. And it was like 8 weeks into it, I was told the military are looking like they're delivering the aid, but the army, the Navy, France, America, were helping, giving aid, but they want to take credit for it, and just deliver it in their trucks and stuff. So
I
to make it look like they were in charge, in control, like it's our country. It's like, this is my country, this is my people, that kind of thing. So it was like they want to take credit for it, and that's why there was all this underhanded, not giving out news, not allowing, for a period of time there was no visas issued and stuff like that. But now they've done that. They've allowed volunteers, people from India, from England and all over the place, coming to give aid. And of course there have been all these world organisations already over there for like 30 odd years, World Vision, Project Hope, Save the Children, UNICEF who are mainly for the children, because the children have got no homes, they've got no schools, they've got no churches to go to, and like, what do they do every day when they get up? And what are their parents, because their parents are trying to rebuild their lives for the children and themselves, and they do that by going to these shelters to get the aid, or the aid is brought to them, but because of the devastation and the, I don't want to really go into the gory details of it, because it's really pretty horrific, but
you are trying to make a difference here.
Yeah.
And
basically
that's
it was
an incredible thing.
Well, we're going to do something on this show that we're doing for the benefit. The people that I have, as I call them the A-Team, because I used to watch that when I was a little girl. Mr. T was awesome, and I met him as well later on in life, which was lovely man. And the bottom line is, I would be such a so-and-so if I, and not just that, it's not even about that, it's just, my father lives in this country, and I've never really been able to help him in a lot of ways, because I'm not this person that people think I am. I'm just a very basic home country girl, I really am, but I happen to be a singer and a songwriter and a performer, and I love doing it, and that's why I'm still doing it. And God knows I'm old enough to know better, but I love it, and I really want to do what I can. I came here for that reason. I was in a band for so many years. It was history. It was done. It was dusted. And there was more to me than just being this girl in this band, And I was lucky enough to get 2 solo record deals in England at that time. And I just don't see the point of going through all these experiences in your life. And I hope I'm not sounding like me right now, but I'm just trying to give you a history, a little background, because whatever you do in your life, everything is relevant to what your mission, what you came here to do for the better, for humankind, for the best. And I truly believe that, otherwise we wouldn't be here.
Be true to yourself.
Be true. And of course, when you're true to yourself, that's not always the easiest or done thing, because
it's not always accepted but by those around you.
Of course not. There's a formula. Everyone has a formula, right? And I'm going, well, what's your formula? And they're going, well, I use cheese and pepper and dinner. And I use cayenne pepper, I use basil, I use parsley always, because it's really good for you, it's vitamin C. And so I'm telling them my formula, and they're thinking like, what the hell is this girl talking about? So I've kind of been a little bit on the outskirts of a lot of stuff. But I've been there, I've been involved in it, I've been witness to it, I've been involved in it. And I can honestly say, I have no regrets. So this whole thing, when I came back to the States to continue with my mission, because I started doing some shows with the band that I was famous for being in all those years ago, and who cares anyway, it was such a long time ago, I have to be honest, even I'm like, what? That was like then. But what I want to say is, artists, period, have to realize that what pays the bills and what pays your soul experience and what really fulfills that is stuff that's not always that easy to do. But don't be scared, because just believe, have in your gift, and like you said, be true.
That's right.
Because when you steer away and veer away and start listening to all these other people and other voices, then that's when you start making the mistakes, and that's when you start veering off, and that's when you start wasting a lot of time and energy, which I can honestly vouch that I have done that in certain situations, because I have experienced that, compromising with 25 people from a record label telling me, you can't do that, you can't do this, we're paying for this, and if you don't do this, we can't do this with you. And I'm like...
They're looking at it as a business.
Of course. And I'm like, I've learned, you know, well, I'm, 40 now? And I'm thinking, you know what? I am never, ever going to compromise ever again. I don't care if you like it, if you don't like it, I am never doing that again. I want people to actually really believe in fulfilling what they came here to do. And if I never sing again tomorrow, which I will, I'll always sing, wherever I'm in the bathroom or in my kitchen or whatever with my family, I will sing till the day I die, and chant till the day I die. But I just have to emphasize that I'm hoping through this whole benefit thing and everything else that I'm working on, you know, and have been this past few months, will make a difference for the better, you know?
You're an incredible person.
Oh, I don't know about that. But
you're an incredible person.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate that.
It is
make
really...
me blush.
No. It is really
Powder.
a pleasure. It's really a pleasure to
thank you.
interview you.
Thank you.
And to have invited you here to MUA TV. And you've said some very, very profound things. And this will be repeated and repeated several times for several weeks.
Okay, good.
And I know that our audience will continue to watch again and again until it sinks in.
Yes.
You will.
Yes. It's a privilege to do what we do and the way we do it. Just believe in yourself and don't ever doubt that, you know, you're on the right path. If it brings you joy and you know that you're creating something for the good, then it's a higher good. It's going to lead you into so many amazing areas. It really will for a long, long time. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Annabella.
You're welcome.
All right.
It's lovely to meet you.
Will you please...
You're a pleasure to talk to.
Oh, thank you, honey.
It's a great listener.
Yeah, listen, you will come back again and see us. Maybe next time...
Hopefully after the fundraiser, benefit concert.
Afterwards,
Maybe,
and we'll talk about how things...
Yes, that would be nice.
Unfolded.
That would, because I've asked Travis to do my makeup actually.
Yeah, Travis, come on in here.
The show. This is.
Yes, and Bonnie, I want to introduce Mr. Travis Pates, who did Annabella's makeup. Bonnie, where's
Polyfiller, spray.
Bonnie, our hairstylist.
Come on, Bonnie. Where's Bonnie?
She's gone home. She's like, I'm done.
So Travis.
Yes, sir.
Tell us, how did you approach Annabella's makeup?
You know,
Bonnie?
actually,
Here, ladies and gentlemen, our hairstylist.
Oh my God, I'm not even powdered myself.
Bonnie, you did a beautiful job
Thank you.
on Annabella's hair.
Thank you.
Yeah,
See?
you both.
I'm the product of these two. This is why I look this way and feel this confident.
Just makeup and hair.
Just makeup and hair. Of course.
It's a team. It's a team effort.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So.
This has been a wonderful experience tonight.
Oh, it's
and I want to thank you,
isn't she
Travis,
amazing? Love her.
for introducing Annabella.
She's amazing, good person, wonderful, beautiful spirit, beautiful energy. I love having her in my chair.
Yeah.
We always have fun. We do some interesting things.
We always have fun.
We always have fun. Always.
Always.
And that's what it's all about. It's about fun.
Absolutely.
Annabella, again, thank you very much for being with us. Travis,
Thank you.
Bonnie, and for all of you out there in Webland, thank you for being with us. And you stay tuned for more makeup and hairstyling programming right here on MUA TV.